Professional actors and working actors choose summer acting classes in New York to study the Meisner Technique with Maggie Flanigan Studio. In this recent interview, Turron Kofi Alleyne talks about what it was like studying Meisner again after many years of working professionally.
All right, so I did go to Rutgers University before I came here. I went to study at Meisner School of the Arts. And that's when I first experienced, like, whoa, I thought acting was just memorizing lines, and then it just blew me away about technique and all these different instruments and different tools that come into acting. So that was a while ago, and I graduated with my BFA, did really great in my audition, and still working and things of that nature. However, through the course of time, I have a family now, I'm married with 3 kids, and I don't get to work on my instrument as much as I used to do. So I got an email about the Maggie Flanigan School, and I saw the summer intensive. And so when I came here, I thought that I was going to be able to just, like, you know, I'm sorry, like, brush up and just get my feet wet again and get back into it, because it was going over the fundamentals. And boy, was I wrong. Charlie kicked and still kicking my butt. Like, oh man, it's a tough process. Crafting and coming up with circumstances, for those who may not know, crafting and understanding. I'm not even talking about just seeing me at first. Understanding who you are. You know, this really opened me up again to understanding you really have to be in tune with who you are to really be alive and really be open and available for whatever human condition you have to process or, live out. And getting rid of all the gunk and the nonsense that was in me, you know what I mean, and be able to live again was great. So this just reminded me how it's funny how hard acting is, and it's not easy. And if you really want to be an actor, if you want to be a really good artist, you have to put in the work. That's one thing about this conservatory that really taught me, reminded me, I should say, about how important putting in the work is. So I wouldn't define acting like this, but what I would say being an actor is really putting in the preparatory work before you even touch a stage or get on camera or whatever it is. You have to be specific, and like Charlie say, he says simple. And when I first heard him say, he said, do an exercise and just make it simple and specific. I said, okay, you want to say simple, so I'll just do something simple. Not knowing that simple is not easy. And Charlie's definition of what simple is. Simple is very complex, but it's still simple. It's still simple, but it has to be very specific. So acting for me is really putting in the work behind the scenes when no one's looking. And so that when you're there, you're just open and available to whatever condition you're going to be living out. Over the years, and even, I grow habits. I'm not the person that I am in class all the time. I don't fully live out my emotional life, whatever that is, all the time in life. So this just reminded, the biggest thing for me was just being able to open that up and not caring about whoever or whatever thinks about you in those moments of just living out whatever experience you experienced at that time. So that was the biggest thing for me, just overcoming that hurdle and still overcoming. Not that I've arrived, I'm still really just trying to be able to live out whatever life that's going on with me unapologetically, and not allowing my my daily worldly life of suppressing whatever that is get in the way of whatever life I'm living on that stage or in that classroom. To be fair, Meisner was the first introduction to acting that I got. You know, I didn't have any acting background before going to Rutgers, and so when I went to Rutgers, that was what I was taught, and you know, all with other different techniques, but the focus was Meisner. And for me, about Meisner, what I do love, and I'm not sure if other techniques do this or not, but through the teaching that I've learned at Rutgers and here, again, it gets you in touch with yourself. It allows you to wrestle with any demons you may have, you know, and not necessarily throw them away. You know, it's more so, I didn't know that about myself. You know, and Meisner, it's set up to pick at whatever. You can't hide anything. If you continue with the work, you cannot hide. You cannot continue to do this Meisner technique and hide who you are. You have to eventually break and open up and reveal all the gunk, all the history. And I'm able to just express myself a lot more now. I didn't realize how much I was suppressing myself and really just speak my mind without it being this hard thing to do. You know what I mean? Being grounded with my opinion and my point of view about something. And this Meisner work, I believe, really taps at that. It really taps those things out. If you don't like being vulnerable, then it's not for you. Encourage anyone to, like, even if they are afraid of being vulnerable, when you're doing Meisner, you're not being vulnerable to be picked at or made fun of. You're really being vulnerable to access, you know, things you never knew about yourself. And also, you're being vulnerable so you can actually begin to stand up for who you are, you know, unapologetically. And the work does that. It's so funny how it just reflects life. I think Nina Simone said something like, art should reflect life. I'm not sure if I'm quoting that correctly, but this Meisner work does that exactly.
Actors who are serious about developing the work ethic that is required to be a professional actor are encouraged to enroll in the summer acting classes at Maggie Flanigan Studio. To learn more about the acting classes and summer acting programs at the studio, visit the studio website or call the studio with enrollment questions at 917-789-1599.